Welcome to week 3 for Team Eagle. This week we're going to be talking about branding yourself, particularly on Facebook, and really leveraging your audience. So let's just go ahead and hop in here. Continuing to keep in mind this idea about the 5 steps to social media success and the tactics that we want to take, the things that we want to look at in order to grow your business. So tonight we're really going to be focusing on this branding aspect, particularly on Facebook. How do you put yourself out there in a way that's professional, but also really reflects who you are, shows people, what you're interested in, what you care about. How do you how do you leverage soundboard content to come across as your best self? So just keep that in mind as we talk through this, and particularly keep your thoughts tonight on Facebook specifically, and how to go and do that. So when I deal with folks every single day on Soundboard who are signing up, some are new to social media, and it never ceases to amaze me how many people I run across that don't even have necessarily a good picture or an updated picture on Facebook because they have left their profiles fallow for years. So please take the time to do that. Of course, get yourself a good icon image and a nice background image, because people are going to visit your profile. People tell me I look like D.B. Cooper, the old thief that was on the FBI's top 10 most wanted list for like 30 years, especially when I have sunglasses on. So I just think it's funny that's my icon. But anyway, keep that in mind. Of course, photo resolution is important. When you're on Facebook and people are visiting your profile, the other thing that, of course, you want to have looking good is this photo back here. Now, this is a cute picture of me and my wife, but not a great, widespread background here, a lot of darkness. But keep in mind that resolution is important. And if you try to drop in, a vertical or a portrait-shaped picture, it's going to cut it off funny. And resolution is important, of course. So that's important. The other thing that Facebook has rolled out here, and I honestly don't know when they've done this. It's been in the past. I don't know, truthfully, but I just noticed there's so much that you can fill out with your profile that Facebook helps you connect with people from your past. And so a lot of the things that we've been talking about, I'm running the same kind of training series with the Keep Punching team and Carrie Daigle's team. And we talk a lot about cold networks, warm networks, and how to market yourself to those different networks. And so, Facebook think of it as a pretty big warm network of people that or have had contact with in the past. And so what I've done, just some examples here, is, if you're like me, your Facebook friend network probably hasn't changed dramatically, in a while. Your first week or so on the platform is the most fun because you're getting all these friend requests from people who, you might have gone to grade school in one part of the country. And, if one person sees that you're on the platform, then all of a sudden you've got all these friend requests from all your, best friends from back in the day. And then if you went to college in some place, that network will find you because Facebook's very good at connecting you with those existing networks. So one thing you can do if you haven't done so, and if you'll go to your profile, hit update info, and there's all these things that you can put in. But one thing that I have noticed, and this is, of course, work history is a good way to, connect with people. But one thing that I've done recently is put in places where I've lived, and with the date stamps on it. And that has really popped a lot of new friend requests into my network, because with these date stamps especially, Facebook's recommended people that I thought, oh yeah, I used to work with that person or go to school with that person. And so this is a great way, I think, just again, to exploit that's the wrong word, to take advantage of, Facebook's algorithm, and it's so good at connecting you with people, that take the time to do this, and you'll see, I think, that you'll kind of reactivate some of those people that maybe you hadn't thought about in a long time. And again, a good way to get Facebook to recommend. So just take the time to, fill out as much of this stuff as you want. I think is a good idea to have this information in there, especially since you are ultimately a brand and a business. It's probably a good idea to have your phone number in there. And they're also very good. You don't want to ever tweet out or put your email address in a Facebook post, because there's so many scraper tools out there that want to harvest your email address, probably for nefarious purposes. So, keep that in mind. But that's why it's hidden here. It's not just going to be exposed on the surface for a scraper to pick up, but you can put your Juice Plus website in here, other social links to your Twitter handle, things like that. So just as much as you feel comfortable with, but I think it's a wise play to get that stuff updated. Now, when you think about, again, conversation and engaging, and thinking in terms of warm networks on Facebook, this is a kind of a text-heavy slide, but I wanted you to see it because I want you to understand the way that Facebook views this. Okay, so these first 3 bullets I pulled straight out of Facebook's operator's guide. So you can see it says Facebook was built on the idea of connecting people with friends and family. That's still the driving principle of the news feed today. Our top priority is keeping you connected to the people, places, and things you want to be connected to, starting with the people you are friends with on Facebook. So what that implies is that if your friend on Facebook does something, you will see it. What it does not outright state, though, is that you will see it. Now, Facebook claims that if you scroll through your Facebook feed long enough, you will see every single thing that your friends have posted. I have not tested this because there's no real way to test it and to know. But if you've paid attention to your Facebook feed, and we all usually stay in the top 10 to 15 to 20 posts in our feed before we get tired of scrolling, is you see the same people over and over. Why is that? Well, okay, let's go to these next 2 bullets. So it says your feed should inform. Okay, so people expect the stories in their feed to be meaningful to them, and we have learned over time that people value stories they consider informative. Well, what does that mean? It just means that people value the post that they value. It's kind of like this self-fulfilling prophecy. So what happens is, and of course, this is bullet, your feed should entertain. We've also found that people enjoy their feeds as a source of entertainment. We'll revisit that idea in a minute with Facebook moving away from personal thoughts more to, viral web content. But this second bullet, your feed should inform. So what Facebook is implicitly saying here is that the more you engage with a person, the more of their stuff you're going to see. The less you engage with somebody, the less of your stuff you're going to see, even if they're technically your friend. Okay, so let's take that idea and think about your friend network. Okay, and this is something we'll visit more in a minute. But when you think about your Facebook profile and you think about your friend network, all right, when you look at your friends, I have lots of new friends on Facebook that are Juice Plus reps. But I also have a lot of friends on Facebook who are people that I made Facebook friends with when I joined the platform in 2010 or whenever, and I haven't thought about them again. I have Facebook friends of kids that I taught their 6th grade class 12 years ago, and now they're, juniors in college. Well, why do I not see their stuff in my feed? Well, it's because Facebook determined that I don't really care about what they have to post because I haven't been engaged with them. Okay, I haven't been commenting on their posts. They haven't been commenting on mine. Well, why not? Because they don't see it. Because Facebook doesn't put it at the top of my feed, because Facebook thinks that I don't care about them because I don't comment on their stuff. But again, I don't see it. So when you think about your existing friend network, however many you have. This is really low-hanging fruit when it comes to engaging with people on the platform. Okay, so I want to hop back over here to the slides and show you something in the way this works. So first of all, this is a statement from a New York Times article. The period between January and May of 2016 accounted for a 42% decline in publishers' organic reach, which means business pages, while June and July accounted for a 10% drop. June and July's dramatic drop follows Facebook's adjustment of its algorithms to emphasize personal posts in the newsfeed over posts from publishers. Okay, so this first idea we're going to spend more time on next week, and Facebook's changing algorithm and how business pages work. But I wanted to put this in here because of this phrase right here, the way that Facebook emphasizes personal posts. So they've downgraded dramatically a business page's ability to be found, while they've upgraded dramatically your personal posts. Way more people see it than did in the past within your friend network. So how do you strengthen the ties that you have to your friend network? I actually put these two slides out of order, so I'm going to hop down here. This is Facebook's, how their algorithm works. Okay, so again, we want to think about this in terms of, if you have a graphic, of this, of a visual, at the top is your Facebook friends that you're deeply enmeshed with, and you're constantly seeing their stuff, and you're commenting on their posts, and you're liking their stuff. All right, but the further down you get into your friends network, the further apart it gets. So technically you're still friends with them, but you haven't commented on their posts in years, and therefore you haven't necessarily seen their post because Facebook doesn't put it at the top because of this formula. Okay, so let's look at this second graphic first. This is Facebook's algorithm in a formula. The first thing that they score is affinity, the score between the viewing user and the edge creator, meaning the person who originally generated the post. So you have a lot of affinity on Facebook with your brother, mother, father, sister, husband, wife, your best friend, because you're commenting on each other's posts, you're liking each other's posts. Okay, Facebook is constantly showing you what they're doing because of that affinity rank. Also, this is why, and sometimes it can be annoying, but this is why when you check your feed at 7 a.m., you see a post at the top of your feed, and then you check your feed at 3 p.m., when you're on a break, and there's a different post at the top. But when you go back at night at 8 p.m., that post from 7 a.m. is back at the top because, again, you have a strong affinity, and that post is still generating action. People are still commenting on it. There's conversation going on around it. So Facebook thinks, you probably care about this and still want to be involved. So what you need to do to overcome that a little bit so that you're not seeing the same 20 people over and over and over at the top of your feed, how do you go and build that affinity, again, with your warm network? Well, you go to your friends list, you find somebody that you haven't talked to. Here's my best friend from 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. I have rekindled an affinity with him on Facebook because I actually went and posted something to his timeline. I wasn't seeing a lot of his stuff, and as I been thinking through this over the past couple of weeks and thinking through how to present this training, I really kind of did a mini experiment here. And with Ben, I went and commented. I posted something to his wall about a band that we both liked back in the day, who are on tour now, and we started a conversation around that. And then I liked a couple of the pictures that he had posted of he and his kids having fun, and then he did the same to mine. And now I'm seeing all of his stuff again, and I went back and looked at his feed from stuff from last summer, and I never saw it, and it was not in my feed. So now Facebook recognizes that I'm interested in conversing with Ben and on the platform, and now our affinity rank is stronger. So take a look at your own network. You are sitting on a very powerful, robust, potentially, let's call it a warm network. it could become a hot network, because all you have to do is take a little bit of time. Don't just post and sit back and rest on your laurels and think my work is done. If you really want to, build this as a potential connection platform, then take advantage of this and build that affinity with your people that you already have. Now, when you think about weight, okay, so this is Facebook's way of saying what's more important to people. So what has more weight? Well, objects. So this is objects that you can post, and this is actions. Objects that have the most weight are video. Facebook has flat out said that in 5 years they want every single thing on the platform to be video. This is why they have Facebook Live. Now, you can talk directly to your audience and record it and keep it there. This is why viral videos that are attempting to go viral, BuzzFeed videos, they know that when they start auto playing in your feed, they're playing in mute, and that's why they've started putting text in the videos. And so you've been caught, your eye is caught, you've been sitting there watching a video reading about baby goats in pajamas for the last 90 seconds or whatever thing has just caught your eye and wasted your time. But Facebook knows that, and it stopped you from scrolling. Okay, it kept you on the platform. It works. Those things have the most weight. Then, of course, photos have weight, and then links, and finally status, which is kind of interesting, because when you go to type something on Facebook in your status window, what does it say? It says, how are you feeling? And if you just type, how are you feeling? Well, Facebook cares the least about that. The platform that was built for you to share with your friends how you're doing, you've been overridden by drone videos of Hogwarts Castle. I mean, you just have been. Sorry. So how do you think in terms of putting out content that has that kind of weight, and then actions that have weight? Okay, so obviously shares are the best thing to have happen to your post if you want more and more life to happen to it. Then comments, of course. So if something gets a lot of comments going on it, then it continues to show up and show up and show up. All right, and this is a way that I'm not a celebrity. You might be. My posts don't get thousands and thousands of comments. But if one of my posts with a funny video of my 4-year-old twins being crazy picks up a couple of comments throughout the day, then it will continue to pick more comments up through the evening, because, again, Facebook keeps putting it at the top of people's feeds who are my friends, because it has weight. Then likes, and finally, if people are just clicking through, that has less weight, but it still has weight to it, okay? Then, of course, you have the decay factor. So depending on how long ago the post was created, it kind of falls into a black hole of, we'll have to get that off. You can't take that to school. Sorry, my twins. I will help you in a minute. Okay, so I want to show you an example of how this works. All right, so here we have, this is Daisy. Hi, Daisy. She put a tattoo on her head. I can't talk right now, baby. All right, so here we have Ruth. Okay, here's a post that Ruth created. Ruth is a Facebook friend of mine. She is a Juice Plus rep from New Zealand. Okay, and I wanted to show this because what happened to Ruth's post. So you can see that she posted this on January 21st at 5:26 p.m. Okay, so she's in New Zealand, so the time zones are a little weird. But you can see that over the course of several hours, and then even into the next day, this post was still getting attention. And it was all about people's thoughts about running. And so this was a great example of how to keep something going that's going to pick up a little bit of more weight, because these comments are occurring on it. And she kept it alive by responding to people. Okay, so when people make a comment, respond for two reasons. One, that will build affinity, and then two, again, the more comments that something has on it, the more active Facebook is going to see the post being, and so it'll keep putting it back in people's feeds in that regard. So when you think about, the types of stuff to post, and next week we'll take a look at Facebook, again, the business pages and how you can pull some information out of the analytics in order to kind of gauge audience interest. But you ultimately know, your audience best. And so when you're thinking about going back and engaging your audience, just go back and, figure out what do people from your past care about. Go re-engage, talk about their kids, talk about, their job, their school, whatever's going on. But I think that you can all probably figure out pretty quickly out of your friend network, and it even kind of sorts them here by work colleagues, college buddies, things like that. So if you combine that thought in that warm market, building that affinity with the thought about trying to, keep your profile as updated as possible, be as accurate as possible so that Facebook will connect you with those people from your past, then, you have a market in front of you. Some of you are probably way more active than me. So your friend network may be in the thousands, that you can spend a lot of time here and a lot of productive energy. And then combine that, with the soundboard. And if you wanted to, send somebody a link, then you can send it with this second Facebook button. You can send it directly to somebody. So you can click on this drop down here, share on a friend's timeline directly to them. Hey, thinking about you, saw this, thought you might be interested in it. This is overcoming obstacles to healthy living. So I probably wouldn't send this particular article to somebody I'm trying to reconnect with after years, but you get the point. You see how it works. So a pretty great connection point there for rekindling some old friend interest. Okay, so what we are going to do is, I know we're a few minutes shy here, but that was the meat of what I wanted to get through tonight. But next week, we're going to talk about prospecting on Facebook from a cold market perspective, how to leverage chat groups and topic groups that are out there. We're going to have to get some scissors on that, Davey. Sorry. And then we'll talk about Twitter and prospecting on the Twitter platform and how that is a pretty cold market for a lot of people, but how to use that. And then Buffer and Hootsuite, how to schedule stuff. And then we will probably, I'll talk to Guy. We'll either need to make this one maybe a touch longer than 30 minutes or possibly even have a whole nother class. Y'all tell me. Again, you can Vox me. My Voxer is James Ketchum. You probably see how my name's spelled here on the Zoom, but it's like ketchup with an M, James Ketchum 750. If you've got a specific topic that you want covered, we could do a bonus week of Q&A or things like that. But I also wanted to show y'all a few other, one more thing kind of things. Is it best to send via private and not on a friend's timeline? So I think it's probably, you just kind of can gauge what you think is more appropriate. As a cold intro, it's probably not a great idea to put an article on somebody's timeline. But if you started a conversation about a topic and find something, then I think that's fine because they'll see it and then they can choose to post it public if they want to. Or, of course, you could send via private message as well. So Philomena asked, where can we view sessions that we missed? And actually, I've recorded them all and sent them to Guy, and I can send them again if you want. Guy, you can let folks know where you've been posting them. I don't know if y'all have a Facebook group or something, but we can work on that because I still have them all if you need them. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so Guy says they're on the Team Eagle Facebook page, all the past recordings. And then I think somebody raised their hand. but I don't see who it was. It disappeared. So, okay. Anybody else have any other thoughts, questions? All right. Well, we'll go ahead and close up a few minutes early here tonight, and thank y'all for your patience and letting Daisy join us for a visit. And we'll be back next week with Facebook prospecting for business. Everybody have a happy Valentine's, and Guy, I will send you this recording here momentarily. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.
Happy Valentine's Day.